We're going to go ahead and call the reorganization meeting to order. First item on the agenda is a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? In accordance with Missouri Revised State Statute 115.124, the district did not hold an election because the number of candidates filing was equal to the number of open positions. The following candidates have filed for a Board of Director position and will be sworn into office during this reorganization meeting. Mrs. Jamie Blue and Mr. Josh Kettinger.
Congratulations.
This says the Board Secretary will administer the oath of office. Oh, the real one. The real one.
No, not approved. Okay, hang on. Administer the oath, okay. Are you two ready? Do I have to stand up?
No, I don't.
I don't think I have to. All right. So repeat after me. I
I,
Josh Kettinger,
Jamie Blue,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Missouri,
and the Constitution of the State of Missouri,
and that I will faithfully and impartially
and that I will faithfully and impartially
discharge the duties of school director
discharge the duties of school director
in and for the St. Genevieve County R2 School District,
in and for
In and for the St. Jude County R2 School District,
County of St. Genevieve,
County of St. Genevieve,
State of Missouri,
State of Missouri,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
according to the law.
according to the law.
Next item on the agenda is procedures the board members will follow to acknowledge the requirements set forth in this policy. Board Policy BBF, School Board Member Ethics. All board members will receive a hard copy of Policy BBF, School Board Member Ethics. The board secretary will read Policy BBF. All board members will acknowledge the receipt and information in Policy BBF by signing and dating their hard copy. The signed copies of Policy BBF will be given to the superintendent of schools and filed in the district office. Did you distribute those?
are they in the green folder?
Did you want to do them now or later?
Okay.
Up next is board officer election. Anyone like to make a motion for board president?
I will make a motion to appoint David Bova to President of the Board of Education.
Second. I have a motion and a second. We need a motion that nominations cease and we elect by acclamation.
Make a motion that nominations cease by acclamation.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next on the agenda is vice president.
I'll make a motion.
Second. I'll make a motion that nominations cease and we elect Eric by acclamation as vice president.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Second reading.
Next on the agenda is election of delegates for MSBA.
Make a motion that we elect Martha Riesling, delegate for MSBA.
Second.
I have a motion. Sorry.
I'll make a motion that nominations cede.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Alternate delegate.
Motion that Josh Gettinger
Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And I'll need a motion to adjourn the reorganization.
Motion to adjourn the reorganization meeting of the Board of Education for the reorganized school district to Central County, Missouri, move to regular open session.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations.
Thank you. Did you all get a copy of that? All right, we will begin open session now with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next, winner of the Board of Education norms will be available board docs. Next, we have the MSBA monthly report.
Welcome to the April edition of the Missouri School Boards Association's Board Report. We begin with a look back at MSBA's Advocacy Day event held on March 11th in Jefferson City. Preparations for the event took place throughout January, February, and March. MSBA's spring virtual meeting and the Lunch and Learn webinars prepared school board members for their meetings with legislators and provided information on several legislative issues now before the Missouri General Assembly as it heads for its May adjournment. Commissioner Carla Esslinger spoke during the Advocacy Day event at the Mill Bottom. Commissioner Esslinger said that although there are challenges surrounding public education, she is noticing a trend.
The uptick that I'm seeing across our state is that we're getting more people in prep programs. We're seeing more retention of our teachers. We're seeing our attendance rates starting to come up. But there's some really good stuff happening in the state of Missouri. You guys are knocking it out of the park. And here's my challenge to you. Please, please, please get loud, very loud about the successes you're having, the work that you're doing. You're not ignoring the problems. You're still going to work on attendance and absenteeism and teacher shortage and whatever else you've got to do. But when you've got stuff that you're thrilled about, makes your heart proud, and makes you really, really happy about doing your service to your communities, get loud. Tell everybody. Tell them twice. Tell them 3 times.
The Carter D. Ward Excellence in Advocacy Award was presented to Mary Graper of the Wright City R2 School District Board of Education. This award is given annually to a past or present board member who has excelled at advocacy. Mary stressed the importance of ongoing advocacy for public schools.
Advocacy isn't just for Jefferson City. It's something we need to do every day in our own communities. If you don't stand up for public education, the strong foundation we've built for our kids and our communities and our state will start to crack.
Advocacy Day also included the Student Showcase at the Capitol, where students from school districts throughout the state were on hand to discuss and demonstrate innovative programs in their districts. A special thanks to the Jefferson City social media program for attending the showcase and for helping out with documenting the event.
What do you hope that the legislators and representatives walk away with knowing about your program today?
I hope they take into accountability of how passionate our school is with just trying to help focus on getting more teachers out in the world and really just helping us in general with college credit, helping us find the right path for us.
Make plans now to attend MSBA Summer Summit June 16th through the 18th in Branson at the exciting new venue for this year, the Hilton Branson Convention Center on the Landing. Join school board members and leaders from across Missouri to learn about emerging trends and hot topics in education. The summit's general session features Jean Becker, who was President George H.W. Bush's chief of staff for nearly 25 years. She's the editor of Pearls of Wisdom by Barbara Bush and the New York Times bestselling author of The Man I Knew. Her latest book is Character Matters and Other Life Lessons from George H.W. Bush. Also, be sure your board is represented at the June Delegate Assembly to be held in conjunction with the Summer Summit. Delegates will be electing state officers for the coming year at that meeting. Registration information for the Summer Summit is posted on the MSBA website. And last but certainly not least, if you are elected to your school board for the first time this month, welcome to school board service. Missouri law requires all school board members to receive 18.5 hours of training within their first 12 months of service. MSBA's new board member training fulfills this requirement and provides the foundation for becoming an effective board member. MSBA Director of Board Development, Lisa Nieder, says that although that sounds like a lot of training, the leadership development team has worked to make it as convenient as possible.
The training is broken into 2 parts. For Phase 1, you'll complete a series of online modules at your own pace on your own time. These modules are designed to increase your knowledge of important topics related to board service. In Phase 2, the remaining 8 hours of your training will be done live with other board members, where you'll discuss and apply the information you learned online. You have the choice to do this in person at locations around the state or virtually over Zoom. Training topics include board operations, school finance, student achievement, school law, and more. Once you complete your training, you'll be certified and ready to serve your community effectively on the school board. Plus, you'll help your district fulfill an accreditation requirement.
The training is free for all new board members. Check the MSBA website for a schedule of the training opportunities along with registration information. That's it for this month. Thanks for allowing us to have some time at your board meeting, and we'll see you in May for the next MSBA Board Report.
Right, next we have the consent agenda.
I did want to mention, before you voted on the consent agenda, in the surplus property, we did have a bus identified as surplus property, not using it throughout the year, not wanting it to sit there and rot on the lot. I think we have somebody to use it, but we need to go through the advertising process. In order to do that, we needed to bring it to you all for surplus property identification. We were able to replace the video board that was damaged by the hail. The board that was taken down is still in working order, so we're going to declare that surplus property as well.
I think everyone's seen what the recommendation for the MSBA president-elect is added.
Yes.
So, okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda items as presented.
Second. I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next we have public participation. Those guidelines are available also on board docs.
Good evening, everyone. Good to see you all. Congratulations to everybody in your not so new positions, I guess. First thing on the superintendent's report is a note of appreciation from Perryville admin team. Bailey and I were able to coordinate and take lunch down to them as they were scrambling around trying to put pieces back together and figure out how to get kids back to school. In addition, I believe Tiff Wolk had an idea and kicked it to Caitlin Crump. Is that correct? Kreitler's her maiden name. Caitlin Crump, and they worked together, and you can see the shirts on the screen. Caitlin and her class printed over 390 shirts, and it raised $5,800 that will be given to Perryville to help in their efforts to get them back to home. So, felt very good to have our partners to the south be able to reach out. Next on the superintendent's report is kindergarten enrollment. You can see St. John Elementary on March 1st had 65 scheduled, 2 no-shows, so they're able to screen 63. And then on the 15th, they had 15 scheduled, 2 no-shows, and screen 13. Total is 76 screened. Suspect 2 retentions at this time. Didn't screen 8. So predicted enrollment is right around 88 when you add an average of 10 students to that. At Bloomsdale Elementary, on the 15th, they have 39 scheduled, 1 no-show, so they're screened 38. Suspected retention, so they're estimated somewhere around 40 students. So those numbers, as compared to last year, St. John Elementary predicted 99, and Bloomsdale Elementary predicted 30. So not too far off. You never know. Yeah. I mean, the average students who enroll over the summer is always very, that's going to be a little higher. So right on the ball. To review, the last day of school is Friday, May 23rd. That will be a half day. Students will be released at 1 p.m. And then certified staff workday checkout day will be 1 p.m. Or later into that evening or by appointment. St. Genevieve Junior Senior High School Junior and Senior Prom was held this last Saturday, March 12th. Dr. Boyd's not here this evening. I believe he has supervision. But I think it went off without a hitch. Good plan by all. And then graduation will be Saturday, May 10th in the Peggy J. Johnson Gymnasium. You will see I have 7 p.m. crossed out there. Sorry, Mr. Bosler. We were able to move that up this year in anticipation of kiddos being back. District track is in Dexter, which is a 2-hour drive. I talked to Dr. Boyd this afternoon. We have some kiddos that are going to be in the last event, which ends at 5:30, and 2-hour drive back is 7:30. And if they stop to eat or change clothes or anything of that sort, we're going to be pushing 8. He went ahead and tentatively moved that to 8 in anticipation of allowing those kids to get back from that track. Retirement and recognition banquet is Friday, May 16th at St. Genevieve Elks Lodge at 6 p.m. I encourage everyone to come out and join us for that. Next on the agenda is principal's reports.
I'd like to recognize you for what you got this last. Right here, Superintendent McMaster recognizes Superintendent Dr. Taylor as Southeast District's Emerging Superintendent. That's a great thing.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So tonight I have a few things that have happened in this past month. It's kind of the busy time of year where every time you turn around we're doing some type of activity or somebody's coming in as a speaker. So it's been very active since spring break. At the bottom left and bottom middle, we had our pre-K to Family 2 fun night. They did sort of a spring fling, spring carnival type activity, and you could see like caterpillars and butterflies and different things of that sort. That one's always very well attended in the spring. At the top left, we have the same picture in 2 spots, but that's okay. Dragons Love Tacos, and that was a collaboration with our St. Genevieve County Library. They came in and they read to our 2nd grade students, and it was just a fun time for everyone. The top 2 pictures on the right are the 2nd grade took a field trip to the Magic House. That was very well attended too. I think we had just as many parents and chaperones as we did students. We had to make actual provisions with the Magic House to get them all in, and again, very well attended in the spring. We just recently had our 1st and 2nd grade Ag in the Classroom Day. Dr. Hannah Fritchie-Dunzy always brings her kids up, and they do a collaboration with our 1st and 2nd grade classrooms. I believe in the 1st grade they learn obviously about milking a cow. That is, the kids love that one. And then in the 2nd grade they learn more about corn and corn production and how it's incorporated in various parts of the, life cycle and how we eat it. What's neat about this is it's the FFA students, I believe, are the ones that are doing the presentation. So again, we have that collaboration opportunity with our high school, and the kids get an opportunity to listen to the older kids speak. This one's kind of neat. Mrs. Schnitzler just reached out to me. Last week, I believe she was notified that Easton Mertzliff, he's one of our 5th grade students, had received an invitation to the state capitol for the Missouri Youth Month Award. He was chosen, and I'm going to read what Mrs. Schnitzler had written up. We are thrilled to share that Easton Mertzleft, a fifth grade student at St. Genevieve Elementary, received honorable mention in the Missouri Youth Art Month exhibition held at the Capitol in Jefferson City. Easton's artwork stood out among entries from across the state in the upper elementary division, grades 3 through 5. He was honored during a special celebration at the Capitol and awarded a bag of art supplies and a $100 gift certificate to Blick Art Materials. And I do think his whole family was able to be present with him on April 10th. So that was, we didn't know it was happening. It was a surprise and very quickly, but his family was able to make that. So that was extra special for him. And then, oh, not quite finished. On the right there, the fourth grade did take an art museum field trip. That's something that Mrs. Schnitzler likes to do with our fourth grade students, kind of get them immersed in the art culture and get them interested in different aspects of art. So those pictures are our fourth grade students. We also had School Librarians Day. We celebrated our school librarians, Miss Tischer and Mrs. Beckett. And then we had Paraprofessionals Day at the beginning of April. We have some really great paraprofessionals in our building, and we honored them. And then it was Assistant Principals Week last week, and this is Mr. Kingery's last one as an AP. So we tried to make that extra special for him. And I don't know if you saw on Facebook, or I think Mrs. Beckett put them out. She had her students AI Mr. Kingery in various versions, and he's down there seeing all the AI arrangements they made of him. They were very interesting. And then we do have one of our parents. They are big into raising their own chickens and hatching eggs. So she has a child in kindergarten and second grade. So our kindergarten and second grade students are getting the experience of incubating eggs and going through that process. And like the dad is coming in tomorrow to meet with all the classes and kind of take them through the process of what's to happen next in the timeline. And then we have our positive office referral video. We have Claire Harlow, Braden Carnes, Austin McKinney, Allie Mae Hook, Skylar Weathers, Jolene Ditch, Jagger Bales, Isaiah Baker, Grace Kramer, Rowan Blair, Mason Hurst, Maggie Nagger, Lillian Joggers, Landon Holt, number 1, and number 2, Jolynn Ketting, Journey Quinn, Hayes Van Garrow, Kendall Scoggins, Landon Holt, number 3. He doesn't look excited about that one. Emberlyn Witu, Piper Jordan, Riley Ruffle, Nolan Romer. And that's it for St. Genevieve Elementary. I will get you a feature teacher and super staff next month. We just had our faculty meeting this afternoon. So thank you guys.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening.
And we will start with our faculty and staff of the month. Our faculty of the month, Ms. Smith. She is always working hard and finding ways to help her students. She is wonderful with the kids and always eager to jump in and help wherever needed. Ms. Smith is a bright light at BLE and a great friend to all. She supports teachers and works collaboratively with teachers and students to find solutions to different problems. She's working with Ms. Ram, and she didn't start with us right away, but she jumped right in, and I mean, she is doing wonderful, and the kids have taken very well to her. So, and then Miss Myrose, our first grade teacher, this teacher wrote, I have seen Miss Myrose work with her class. She is patient, she is super helpful to others, and works very hard to make sure every one of her students get the help they need. And I will second that. I always tell her this, she does not seem like a first-year teacher to me. She does a wonderful job. And our positive office referrals, there were so many, I couldn't fit their names on there. We have top left, Frankie Farabella, Alessa Daughtery, Lily Schwint, Kinley Castelaw, Chase Moran, Jackson Causey and Rush Noble. And middle row, Bennett Lurk, Branson Henson, Madeline Johnson, Elijah Hoover, Remy Jamerson, Justin Lamandier, and Grant Sheldon. In the bottom row, Nova Squires, Hallie Lurk, Connor Myros, Caleb Homan, Adeline Lurk, and Keaton Basili, and Kinsley Hook. And I have some students who have been working on my slides. So we too have had the field trips and all kinds of things. We did the Me and My Gal and Me and My Guy dance this weekend and dodgeball, and then we've had our family fun night. But I let them choose what they wanted to do their slides about. So they chose a slide on the kindness leaders. So our kindness leaders, as I've mentioned in past meetings, they go around to our classrooms every week and they come up with their lessons and what they want to do. And in this particular lesson, they did a water experiment where they did blue water droplets into a clear bowl of water, and they then added the yellow drops of dye to show that it takes a while. Once your words are out, it takes a long time for them to, I guess, clear the water, and turn the color. So it was just a visual way for them to see that, words matter and they can hurt or they can be kind. So the kids enjoyed that in the visual. And then if you'll click on the video, like she had said, we had Dragons for Tacos with our local library, and they did a little video. Why would dragons help you rebuild your house? Maybe. They're good spirits. Maybe they feel bad for wrecking it. Dragons love tacos. Love beef tacos and chicken tacos. They love really big, gigantic tacos. Tiny little baby tacos. Why do dragons hate spicy salsa? One drop of hot sauce makes a dragon's ears Dragons spark. If the salsa is spicy at all, dragons can't stand it. Why do dragons hate spicy salsa? Well, just one drop of hot sauce makes the dragon's ears swell. It's pretty much the same all the way through. But they're learning while doing. And then, let's see. They did, this was another activity they chose. They listened to a story. This is our fourth grade students. They listened to the story Not a Box, and it's about a little guy who made an experiment with boxes. And I think it was an amusement park, and he raised lots of money with this experiment. So they had to bring in boxes and materials and use their own imagination to create things with boxes. So that's just some of their pictures. And that was all. Thank you.
Good evening. As I'm watching elementaries go through their things, I'm like, oh my goodness, we didn't include that. We didn't include that because it is that time of year. And I'm sitting next to Lindsay and I'm going, we didn't include all their cool trips and adventures they've been on. So just so you know, this is a tiny, tiny snapshot. That's what it feels like. So we were able to take part in Kindness Week, which I think was pretty neat because it was district-wide, and I think that might be the first time we've been able to do that. So we are thankful. There were some high school groups that took the lead on that, and then our NJHS group kind of carried some of that out through the middle school. And we also had the opportunity for teachers to send in a survey whenever, or send in a form whenever they saw a kid being kind that week. So they got to identify some of those kiddos, and it was just a neat experience. Little different take on things. At the top right, I shared that out on social media, but I literally stop in front of that wall almost every day. And I've spoken to quite a few kids that, you know, created those self-portraits, and they're like, mine's terrible. That doesn't look anything like me. And I could tell you who every one of them are, you know, because they're that good. And most of them would tell you they are not artistic. So it's always super, super impressive to me. Down below, you have a new dragon group that Mrs. Meyer, our counselor, started. And so I'm sure you guys have seen Susie kind of came around during the days of COVID. I picked her up, her arms kept falling off, like it's a hot mess. But Susie, Mrs. Meyer uses her for career exploration on the regular. She creeps people out a little bit because she's always standing somewhere in the middle school. So Amy wanted to be more intentional with Susie. So she started doing this dragon group and inviting people in from the community to share about their careers. And then Susie is dressed and equipped with accessories for that career. So we were able to have Maria Rotler come in from Potential Therapy, and she spoke to the kids, and she even has like a sweet Potential shirt on, you know, and she's all jazzed out. So I was told today we now have a male mannequin as well. So I'm not really sure what all is going to happen there, but Amy was digging for clothes today. So we shall see. Whoops. Oh, are you clicking or me?
Oh, you're able to click on it?
Yeah. I have every time I've ever been up here. All right. So there's really a few different things to highlight on this slide. And I feel like I talk to you guys every year about our grade level field trips, but it started 3 years ago. And it was this crazy, ridiculous idea. And it goes off without a hitch every year and is just such a cool experience for all of our kids to get out of St. Genevieve. Like, yes, I want them to be in their community, but to have that opportunity to get out of here as well and see things outside of here is just pretty dang awesome. And the fact that we get to do it all in one day so that we really only interrupt one school day, you know, that's big as well. I'm going to throw a few shout outs because our bus company makes it happen every year. I call and I say, we still good for that 9 bus day? And she's like, oh yeah, we gotcha. And then I'll find out that she's like recruiting drivers 3 days before, but they haven't not gotten us yet. So that's pretty awesome. Our nurse's office makes a nurse's hub for that whole day. I know they're packing medications and, you know, they're doing all the things for all the kids and prepping my teachers. And our cafeteria, it's a well-oiled machine when we go down there. And they have our coolers by grade levels and our boxes by grade levels, and they're just loading our vehicles. And then our teachers just own that day. You know, it's a cool opportunity to be with their advisory kids. I'll try to talk quickly, but we did keep a few things the same as last year. 6th grade went to the zoo again. That's always a good experience for them. They really just want to spend their money at Starbucks, but they have their own money in their pocket. So that in itself is also a cool experience. Our 8th grade went to the City Museum again, which is a really neat independent opportunity because we are able to trust them to explore as long as they stay with another student and they all come back on time for lunch and they all come back on time for the bus, which I think is a pretty awesome win with a bunch of 14-year-olds. And then 7th grade for the 3rd year in a row, changed locations because we just can't find one that sticks. So we were originally supposed to go to the Bon Terre Mine and do a boat and walking tour. So I was pumped. And then we were going to go to St. Francis State Park. We had a pavilion rented. We were ready to go. And there's some litigation going on there and they closed. And so we quickly tried to find another location. And we went to the World Bird Sanctuary first. And then we went to Suisun Park. And Suisun Park was a hit. World Bird Sanctuary is probably a little small for our 140 kids. They were ready to take us on, but I think for the 4th year in a row, I'm going to be looking for a new location for 7th grade. But great experience, great day. We do it right before right before spring break. So we come back and everybody is in a good place and we get to wave everybody on home and everybody gets to rest afterward. The other thing I want to highlight on this slide is in the top left, there is a new dragon group that Mrs. Womack started just in this third round, and I don't know why we didn't do it forever ago. And they're called the Canva Creators, and it has made my life so much easier. They literally, every week, she's like, what do you want me to have them create for you? And I was like, oh, let's highlight our field trips and what's going on. So I literally get 20 field trip Canva creations, and I just select one and post it out to social media. So that is created by one of our students. You'll see a few more that I threw on here in just a moment. And it's like today I sent her a list of 5 things that are between now and the end of the school year because they'll meet 4 more times. And it's pretty fabulous. So these are our Dragons on Fire. I think Dr. Mercer brought you a very long list last month because I was a little behind and I threw myself under the bus if you follow our social media. So these are a few since then. Aubrey Johnson, Caden Olert, Connor Allgaier, and Amadea Zielinski. And I think you probably saw my shout out to Amadea on social media. I told her that Dr. Draper saw her holding the door and it appeared she was being a greeter and not just holding the door for the person behind her, and how awesome that was. And she was like, I do that every day. And I was like, well, even more awesome, because I'm on duty on the other side of the district. I don't even know what happens up there in the morning. So our Spotlight Award is on the ever so infamous Mr. Ryan Mueller. And we were able to give him that award today. And I think it was also good timing because I don't know how many of you are familiar with high school golf schedules. High school golf schedules mixed with special education MAP schedule is very, very difficult and very trying. And I think he's not sure if he's coming or going and making sub plans because his kids are everywhere. They're all in different places, and some are testing and some are not. And he has not missed a beat. And he literally takes every extra effort to make sure that all of his kids are where they're supposed to be and know where they're going. And some of those kids require, some additional processes and strategies in place. So you can see some kind words about him, but I think it was also a really good little uplifting boost today for him. And then here you'll see what's coming up. I won't read through all of these, but we do have our NJHS induction at the PAC on the 23rd. We would love to have you all there. Our spring band concert is the 27th. You can look on down for some additional things. And we do always have our end of year celebration that we keep pretty low key around here, but also gives our kids an opportunity to get out of the classroom and just celebrate the year together. I threw on two more Canva creations because I just wanted you guys to see they're doing awesome work. Like, I'm not having to go in and correct things, and their design skills are much better than mine. So we started map testing today, but it was in isolation. So if you have a 6th or 7th grader, they did not start map testing. Today was just the 8th grade writing portion, and then we don't actually start the rest of map testing until next week. So you will see some reminders about getting enough rest and getting up and getting to school on time and things like that. So we're rolling very quickly into the last few days. So thank you.
One thing first.
Yeah.
I think some congratulations are in store for.
Oh, we've celebrated me enough.
Dr. Huffman now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. Thank you. Thanks very much.
Okay, good evening, everyone. I'm going to start by explaining all the pictures. So in the top corner, we have our theater performance. It was a really great performance. It was the Percy Jackson, the Lightning Thief. It was really cool if anyone saw that. And then the next picture beside it is one of our high school students. She's in an early childhood cadet class, and she's reading to her kids. And then below, we have woodworking class in Thompson's class, a few students working on a few things. And then we have Dr. Boyd and a student for a positive office referral. And then we have another student below giving blood at our blood drive. It was a huge success, and we had a lot of donors. And then again, there's Thompson helping out a student. And then we had lots of positive office referrals. I'll go ahead and read them. Chloe Staffen, Rebecca Palmer, Ava Zerwig, Gabriel DiMacurio, Jacob Sulcer, Kendra Bowen, Jackson Slape, Aubrey Baker, Hannah Aarons, Grace Ketting, Gage Bone, Kaylin Warren, Colton Roth, Olivia Johns, Emma Goodwin, Sawyer Bowman, Emily Merrifield, Brendan Sexton, and Alexis Femmer. And then these are our two senior scholarship winners. This is Jaden Rickman. She is the Elks Student of the Month. And then below we have Lucy Sears for the Rotary Student of the Month. And then some news. The first picture, we had prom. Prom was a huge success. Everyone had lots of fun, and the music was really good. No complaints at all. It was a really good time from everyone. And then our prom king was Charlie Corbett, and our queen was Ainsley McClard. And then next, we have the Easter egg extravaganza. This was an event hosted by friends to raise money for room 122, and it was a huge turnout from the whole community, and I was not there myself, but everyone said it was a huge success as well. And then again, we have the musical. It was awesome, and they had lots of hard work put into it, and I'm very thankful we got to get out of class for a little bit and go see it because it was awesome, and to miss a little bit of class. And then they had Kindness Week. Kindness Week was a huge success too, and we had it school-wide through NHS and Stuco, which I thought was really cool that we got to get our elementary and middle school involved in things. And we had different activities, dress-up days, coloring contests, and a few like kindness activities in the high school as well. And the next says the Persian Honor Society. That's the theater's honor banquet to kind of honor them and their induction ceremony. And then some more news. We have choir at Festus, band at Mac, and FFA districts. All of those events went very well, and there was great feedback from everyone, and everyone competed well. And for FFA districts, there were several kids who got to move on to state. And then the math team at SEMO, again, very huge success there, and Cody Schwint was very pleased with all of his students that competed. And then that is not County Government Day. That is Constitution, competition? Yeah, the Constitution competition. I don't know much about that, but I thought it was really cool. Some students were telling me like they got to get prompts and then kind of like present them to like boards of people and just like different things, which I think is really cool. And then a new addition to the high school, we have digital hall pass system. It's a new system that students have when leaving the class at any time during the day, just to kind of like get a feel for where they are at too. And so we know kids aren't skipping class. So every time they want to leave the classroom, use the restroom or go to the office or something, they scan their ID, scan the teacher's ID, put where they're going. And then once they arrive to that classroom, they have to scan their ID again, the teacher's ID. And there were 350 passes that were issued yesterday, but all the kids are adapting very well, and it's been a success so far. And then here are upcoming dates. We have the Dan Clark Honors Banquet. That's tomorrow evening. And then the senior trip at Top Golf is April 28th. And then the Dragons with Distinction ceremony for seniors is May 9th. And then graduation is May 10th. And then here are some of our sports. Every single sporting event had something going on today. Very busy day. Baseball played tonight at home. Softball played tonight, I think, at Arcadia Valley. Girls and boys track is at home tonight for their senior night. And then boys golf was at Forsh Valley in Potosi. And then this is our teacher of the month, Mr. Wyke. And then this is what a student has said about him. He has taught at SGHS for many years, and I feel he has been one of the best teachers at this school. He is always in a great mood to teach and has such a fluent way to teach everybody. He always helps you find the right steps to any problem you have for him. He makes class He makes a class that may find hard and stressful easy and enjoyable by caring for his students and making a hard lesson to teach easily understandable for students. He always asks how my day is and always helps when I feel stressed. I truly feel that he should be Teacher of the Month due to his dedication towards this school, his teaching ability, his character, and his passion. Mr. Weig, thank you for your constant service to the students at SGHS. And thank you guys for letting me present to you.
The play was or the musical was amazing. So, and then I wanted to congratulate the folks who put on the art show. I know Mrs. Kime isn't here, but I'm sure she had help. That was amazing also. So, thank you all.
And the last item in my report are safety reports, which you see in your packet.
And thank you to Chris Gettinger. You all have this in your email too. It has all those events in it. All right. We move on to unfinished business, and the first item there is the instructional program presentation, high school social studies.
Hello, very nice to see everybody. We're high school social studies. There are two more of us that weren't able to make it. Here's a picture of us on Local History Day. We'll get into that in a bit. Mr. Keeker is currently working at the track down the hill. He's doing his best, but he didn't make it. Poor Mr. Viox got rear-ended on 32 this morning. Car is not fine, but he's fine. Ibuprofen was wearing off, and we said we'd cover for him. But he's going to be just fine. This is Mr. Viox. He's the one on the right. He teaches current events as a semester class, and he teaches junior level American history. He was awarded the Missouri Milken Educators Award this past year, and he is currently working on his educational administration master's, and he's planning to finish that in spring of 2026. He was very excited about having this opportunity that was presented by SEMO. It's a chance for upcoming and pretty impressive young educators to get the opportunity to have access to some greater resources and a little bit of mentorship. I believe he went to Jeff City and is excited to be involved in that program, and we're excited for him to be there representing St. John. This is a picture of one of the Civil War projects that he does. It's probably a little small from there. He has another one of his projects where he will have students do independent research. On a topic of their choice, and then he will have them put all of that research into podcast format. Sometimes that's a student individually giving an informative talk about it. Sometimes he will have it set up where two students are doing counterpoint against each other. And we've got a wonderful technology facilities where those students are able to take care of that and have some pretty impressive stuff. Can't see a very good picture of it here. This is something we're all very, very excited about. One of Mr. Viox's American history students brought him some original letters from Grandpa that had fought in World War II. This gentleman was a bomber pilot in World War II, and this is a photocopy of a letter describing his experience. The family has like some pictures out of like a bomb site like over Germany and all kinds of great stuff. That by itself is super, super exciting. Mr. Viox took some of the photocopies that he had and he dropped that into ChatGPT. From there, it was able to transcript everything in seconds. So he has got nice printed word for word transcripts of every single one of the letters. A second search in just a couple of seconds, he was able to get some background information about the specific band that this gentleman saw on the USO tour. One quick second search after that, and he can find you a copy of not that specific recording, but some of those band's recordings that you can buy on Amazon that you can see some of the and jump to a map of some of the places that we're in. We're very excited about this. If he was here, I'm sure he would have more to tell you about where we're headed with this next. But it's I can't think of a better opportunity for like original documents and local history and kind of where we're headed in regards to technology. Everybody loves Mr. Viox. He's got a picture there in the middle of History Day. Okay.
Hey, good evening, everybody. I teach in the middle school as well as in the high school, so it's a great opportunity to get to know a lot of students that are going to come up and see me later in life as well, and I like to use that opportunity to kind of develop them into what I want them to be when they get to high school. So I teach 7th grade American history as well as American government for college prep as well as the regular class. I also am an assistant coach for the high school football team. I was excited to win Teacher of the Month one time this year. And then I was also a part of the County Government Day, which is a really good opportunity to kind of go out into the community and see what some of the people actually do in the day-to-day life. I usually enjoy whenever we get back together for a meal and the students kind of report on what they learned for the day. It's always interesting whenever they talk about what Mr. Bosler does and they kind of answer a couple questions. They're usually very eager to let us know that he can arrest the sheriff, which gets me a good giggle every time. So on the left was my Teacher of the Month recommendation and what they wrote about me. On the right side, I have some of my middle school students that are eager to come in and see me every day. They usually let me know about all of their volleyball practices, and I nod my head and act like I understand, but usually do not. A couple more pictures with some students that I get to see every day and have built a good relationship with. Some pictures from coaching football. On the right side, I feel like that picture represents me pretty well because I consider myself a pretty competitive person. Orchard Farm School District is where I did my student teaching at. So I was excited that they were on our football schedule my first year here and was excited that we were able to come out victorious on that. So that's kind of how I start my morning every day, with a cup of coffee and look at that. And I remember that I won and they lost. Couple projects that my students have done. I'll just kind of click and show you a couple of their examples real quickly. Recently, we did the Civil Rights Movement trading cards just in the department and really throughout all of the high school and middle school. A lot of staff members kind of have this personal hobby of collecting like sports trading cards. So we've kind of, in the entire department, kind of incorporated this into some of the projects that we do. So a couple of trading cards that they made for some civil rights movement characters that turned out really well. Kind of provided them like a structured research document where they were able to get out, look at primary sources as well as secondary sources, get those questions answered, and find a way to briefly summarize that in something that's actually going to fit into a trading card. Made them go out, find a signature of theirs online, and include all these things to make it look, again, more like what a trading card would look like. Did the same thing for middle schoolers. They did it with Industrial Revolution key figures, or they were allowed to do it with some of the inventions that came from that time. So this was pretty neat card over Henry Ford. In government, we talk a little bit about pre-revolution of the American Revolution and some things that we desired in our government, and some things that kind of built the structure for what we have here in America. So kind of an idea that I had for them and that they've put together is high schoolers love Netflix. So the idea of having them create and pitch their own Netflix series to me and kind of create the whole story behind leading up to the revolution. A couple of these got really, really creative with, they used AI, they set up all of this stuff, they created all of these images and the characters and told me, like an example here, Sam being a spy working for the Patriots, kind of behind enemy lines and reporting back to loyalists and different groups on what's going on in the revolution. Required them to put together 4 episodes. We covered roughly 8 key events, and then they kind of just decide, hey, these are the 4 that I deem as super important, and included those in their episodes. And this is just kind of another example of that, maybe. I'll try to hurry up with the examples here. But Declaration of Independence, I kind of pitched that to them as it's a breakup letter. You're saying that you're no longer going to comply with Britain. So usually my ladies love this one where I say, hey, you're going to write a breakup letter, which I'm not sure why it ain't pulling up. It's pretty funny. They get pretty detailed with why they're breaking up with Britain and are sure to let them know that they're never getting back together and that they should check out Taylor Swift's music because it represents their love story and all that stuff. Hopefully this one will work. Last project that we did recently was kind of, hey, engaging young voices in politics. Government is a year-long class. Some people love politics, some people do not. So I was like, hey, how do we get young people to pay attention to this stuff, right? We had a lot of ideas on incorporating politics into social media and video games and all kinds of things. And this was a pretty neat idea that someone had of like, hey, we're going to turn the White House into like a reality TV show every week where you get to see behind the scenes of what it's like to actually work for the government. So this was kind of their pitch to me of a show that would be weekly on Netflix of this is what's been done at the White House. So I'm a big fan of creative freedom, and I kind of tell them, hey, this is what I've got in mind, and I like to listen to them pitch their stuff to me and kind of let their ideas soar, and I go along with those things.
Hi, I'm Jason Elders. My background's in, I taught special education for about 10 years, so I do have 1 hour of government with Mr. Moore. That's a lot of fun, and I'm learning a lot. I also finished my master's in history recently, so that means that I'm able to teach a Modern America class through Mineral Area College, where students can receive 3 credit hours in MAC credit. I'm also able to do American history and Western civilization, both through SEMO. So that means that if a student is interested, they can potentially get 12 college hours through SEMO, through me, through the school. Those classes are combined with a group of students that are on the college prep track for us. So everybody gets all the credit that they're supposed to for the high school, but there is that added option of getting into the college stuff if you're interested. That's an exciting opportunity for them because 12 hours will cover most, if not all, depending on what your degree is. That in conjunction with the other subjects where we offer, they usually can end up in pretty good shape running that track. I help Mr. Keeker teach the Constitution team. I'm the Scholar Bowl coach, and I'll have my specialist in teacher leadership finish this summer. Pick just a couple of quick projects for you. This is an example of, for my American history students, I assigned them a newspaper project where they basically have to build an entire newspaper set on the time period according to what all the categories in a newspaper would be. So they're going to choose a topic that they felt was the most important thing of the decade. They're going to have some follow-up, smaller but still very important issues in there. And I'm not going to make you go through all this, but they are quite lengthy. They do fantastic work on all of this. This is what I really want to show you. Virtually everything in any of my classes, I'm going to ask the students to present to each other. Those students are going to have to answer questions by their peers. So if they can have good research, that's fantastic. If they are able to take a very complex idea or a very important issue and put that into a paragraph, that's fantastic. If their peers are listening to everything that they're saying and they're thinking, and these kids are going up there and knowing that the girl next to me that I've been poking all year is going to ask me some questions in front of everybody else, we're all on board and we're all working to get done what we need to get done. These are just a couple of cards from my Western Civ class. Once again, everybody's going to have to speak about what is most important concisely and answer questions about each other. This gives them a lot of opportunity to play around a little bit with things that they're interested in. This young man made Isaac Newton look like he was a Dungeons and Dragons character, which made the whole thing a lot more palatable for him. I am very, very big on don't ever put anything up in front of me or in front of your peers that you don't understand or you can't take a question on. So despite the fact that these are relatively short, they will be able to run you through exactly what Voltaire was trying to say when he said, I may disapprove of what you say, but I will defend with my death your right to say it. That, of course, sounds very much like our First Amendment, and it's all connected. This is Scholar Bowl. They looked mean in this one, so I had to have a fun one. It is not as scary as it looks. Although they did try to put an equation together for what the Charlie to Steak and Shake Cat ratio was. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
I'm Brock Kreitler, and I teach personal finance, which is 10 through 12, economics 9 through 12, and then world history, which is a freshman course. World history is what I teach majority of. Coach middle school, 8th grade boys basketball. You'll see some pictures of them later on, and then finishing a master's degree of educational leadership this spring. I'm almost finished with it. Oh, we did, me and my lovely wife, Madeline, did visit Washington, D.C. this past summer. So I thought this picture would be appropriate for this presentation. We spent 5 days there, 100 degrees every single day. So I was picked for Teacher of the Month. Apparently December is my month. I have won Teacher of the Month 3 times in my 7-year career, all in December. So I own December. Okay, so a couple of pictures and projects from my world history class. Like I said, these are all freshmen. I am the only freshman world history teacher in the high school, so I see everybody. It is only a semester course. So the picture to the left, you see us testing out boats. One of the things that we talk about in world history is early exploration and how sailing technology improves. So voyages are able to cross oceans and travel a little bit farther. So we put our minds to the test and we built some boats. So the stipulation is that they get 100 popsicle sticks. They get popsicle sticks, aluminum foil, and glue. And this thing's got to hold some weight. And they like trying to see it max out until it goes down and seeing who in the class can hold the most weight with their requirements. So we had a lot of fun with that this year. So you're seeing them put on as many weights as possible. I love how we get into this and seeing if any water is leaking in, if you can see any bubbles and all that kind of stuff. So we had a lot of fun with that this year. I have a screenshot of a World War I simulation that we will be doing here this next month. Each student, or depending on the class size, we partner up, will lead a country in World War I. So you guys are seeing a map of that World War I military with their alliances, and you'll see like little flags, and it's almost kind of like playing Stratego or I'm forgetting the military game where you're moving the pieces. Risk. Thank you very much. And they love it. They get into it. I have some other teachers comment about how they have to get on them to do their math work instead of strategizing with this World War I and how they're going to take down Germany. So I think that means that this project is a success and they really enjoy it. They learn a lot from it. So that will be coming up on our schedule soon. We talked about Marie Antoinette and French Revolution, and did she say let them eat cake? I don't know, but let's enjoy some cake anyways. So every year we put on a cake party for Marie Antoinette. Thank you very much. So they get into it. You see a guillotine on one of them. I think I might have I don't know if it's on here or not, but we will have some Barbie doll heads. Oh yeah. This is actually like the cleanest one of them all because sometimes they'll put red icing around. But one of my students went all out, made her own macaroons and all that kind of stuff. Apparently took 8 hours. So we really appreciated her effort. Everything tasted, for the most part, really well. My biggest class was a class of 25 when we had 18 cakes to try. So we sample plattered them up. And then as the teacher, everybody expects you to try their cake. So needless to say, no lunch for me that day. And some of the cakes, if you look at them, you're like, ooh, I'm going to act like I tried that one. Okay. So I get plenty of questions of, Mr. Kreitler, did you try the cake? And I'm like, which one was that? Mine? Yes, it was lovely. It was lovely. So here is a graduation picture. Love graduation and seeing our seniors move on to the next step and helping them get there along the way. Most of the time I am talking to seniors in finance and economics. And here's my basketball squad. These guys did really, really awesome this year. We finished 3rd place in our conference tournament. And this crew is a group that I'm really looking forward to coming into the high school. They are not only super athletic, but they will run through a wall for you. They'll work extremely hard with no complaints. And they're just a really fun group to be around. So really excited to have those guys here. Thank you very much.
Mr. Peter wanted to be here. We'll slide through these real quick for you. He teaches psychology, sociology, and government. He's coaching middle school track. He helps me with the Constitution team, and he helps Mr. Moore with County Government Day. Government is responsible for civics, citizenship, Missouri Constitution, and U.S. Constitution, which are all graduation requirements. We also take care of the government EOCs that are required by everyone. Blake?
Yeah. Talked a little bit about County Government Day already and getting to go to the courthouse and students get paired up in these positions. They go through a mock trial, which is really awesome. They get to serve as the jury. They work really close with the lawyers and they kind of tell them everything that they're going to say. And it's neat to see in that short amount of time how much of it they pick up and how much of like the language and verbiage of the courtroom they develop, and it all starts running pretty smoothly by the time it's done. In the last 2 years, I mean, we've had like a murder trial for one of them, which seemed like everybody in there kind of got into, which, you know, kids like true crime and all that stuff on Netflix. So they had a lot of fun with that. Already talked about the meal and how they kind of report on what they learned from who they were paired with. We end the day by going and seeing the county jail and getting a tour through there. It's really neat. They have a wonderful facility. They have wonderful staff. It's really top notch. I think a lot of the students really gain appreciation for just how nice the police department here is in St. Genevieve, and some of what they're trained to do. And I think they walk away feeling like their community does a really good job keeping them safe. And then they kind of get their own like beyond scared straight experience of like, oh, that does not look like a fun place to be. So they have a good time with it, and it's a really good experience for them.
This is the Constitution team that Ms. Bosler was kind enough to introduce for us earlier. This group of students takes 3 constitutional principles. They create a 5-minute paper about each one of those as a team, and then they have to answer 10 minutes of questions. And this team had to do that 6 different times with a total of 18 practicing lawyers, former judges, and current Supreme Court justice, the Missouri Supreme Court. I cannot speak highly enough of this group. This is not something that is specifically for pre-law students, but of the 80 students that are there, I can tell you that most of them are. I wish everybody could see them. I wish everybody could come to Columbia with us. We brought a chemical engineer, a poli-sci major, a pilot, and an architect. And gosh darn it, St. Jen really gave them a run for their money. And you couldn't be any happier with how everything turned out. They're a good bunch. This is History Day for our American History juniors. Mr. Viox and I's American History class. We try to line that up in the fall with when we're going over colonialism. The rest of the department is kind enough to help us chaperone and be on the spot experts for our groups of 20. When we started this, we started simply going to the national park, and it was a half day. This year, we were able to take everyone at the same time, and we partnered with the National Park and the Center for French Colonial Life. We've got a couple of connections with the state parks, and we're excited about talking to them this summer and possibly having a picnic lunch downtown, adding some state park stuff. It's a fantastic opportunity for our kids to see what makes St. Genevieve so special. This is the spirit section. Okay. We only got 2 slides left, I promise. We started referring to ourselves jokingly as Brochel Studies when the last couple of guys got hired. Some of the kids heard us laughing about that, and they put this together. Mrs. Crump was kind enough to make us a T-shirt that had it on there.
So funny.
I've never seen Mr. Keeker and Fred Bird in the same place at the same time. And this was the shirt that the kids put together for us last year, or this year, yeah. Thank you all very, very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Next.
Not like the social studies that I went to.
That's what we're going for, yeah.
Summer school is next on the agenda.
Dr. McClure?
Yes, we are running summer school again. We're going to start on May 27th. We are lucky enough to be able to fit the schedule in a way that it ends before July 4th. So anytime we do that, I think there's probably a bigger chance to have better enrollment, so it doesn't seem as long. We're going to be offering Algebra 1 and then our English for credit recovery. And then personal finance will be offered for credit. And as you can see, we'll run a first semester course and a second semester course. So this is an opportunity for students to either get ahead a little bit and free up their schedule, or hopefully gain some of those credits and still be able to stay on track. I'll make a motion to approve the 2025 summer school schedule.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, sir. Next, we have the Prop SG update.
Yeah, just a few updates for you. We're going to start at St. Genevieve Elementary. You can see the pictures there. They ran out of brick and had to order more. One exterior window was broken and had to be replaced. Sheet metal contractors have begun their work. The gym is painted and the office area is receiving coats of paint now. You can see up top there, they're getting ready for the panels that are going in above the brick. Kenzie Wolk will be designing and installing a mural in this space as well. The project is anticipated to be completed sometime in June, is what the architects tell us, and they always lie. So, it's not their fault. Weather, there's all kinds of variables, but their track record is.
The week that Romy wasn't.
I did, yes. Early childhood is next. That's Bailey went out today and got some drone pictures. And we were out there earlier this evening for the superintendent's advisory committee meeting and gave them a tour of the facility as well. It's coming along nicely. They're scheduled to start on asphalt tomorrow and concrete later, right after that. Playground equipment will be on, there it is, installed. We had one piece missing, which will be delivered and installed tomorrow. And then they can get started on the pour-in-place around the play equipment. Furniture will be in soon. And as soon as we get the furniture in, we're going to have a Board of Education meeting out there. So, I know we keep talking about it and we're excited about it, but we need furniture out there so that we're not hauling things back and forth. We also finalized the retention pond that's going in behind the Early Childhood Center to prevent water from running down the hill and disturbing our neighbors. Plans on that were finished by Taylor Engineering, and I believe they're with the city right now for final approval so that we can get the ball rolling on that. The new center is scheduled to open for the 25-26 school year and is now and has been taking applications for preschool for the upcoming school year. We're looking at possible dates for ribbon cutting and tours for this summer as well. So that's the Early Childhood Center. Lastly, wrestling facility. We've identified an area behind the pack where we feel like that's going to be a good fit. They're finalizing plans and engineering for all of that. Our hope is to get those packages together and get them out for bid and get those final numbers so that we can start hashing out where we're going to land at the end of all of our projects. So far, we've been able to save money on all of the projects except St. Genevieve Elementary. It's went over a little bit, but we've been doing really good with being fiscally responsible and managing our finances as these projects have been completed. So, any questions about Prop SG?
Dr. Taylor, I just had a few questions about the preschool pricing. I didn't know if we could hear a little bit more about that.
Yes, we can. What would you like to know?
How we came to those amounts.
So, Dr. Drury, Dr. Ketting, is it? Dr. Ketting, all these doctors in the room. Dr. Ketting and I sat down and we worked through this several different times. I'm going to let Dr. Ketting speak to where we finally landed because she's the one who put the groundwork in and did the research and knows what everybody else charges and brought all of that information to the table as we discussed it.
So we reached out to the local child care facilities in town and kind of got a range of where everybody was at, what hours they offered, what food was included, kind of what their schedule looked like, things like that, so we could be pretty comparable and competitive with them. We reached out to surrounding school districts, some of the school districts that we had went and toured previously. We also took into consideration that we haven't raised our prices in several years. After we knew we were getting ready to build the center, we kind of put a pause to increasing our prices. So we took into consideration that we also hadn't increased for several years. And then looking at the budget and what it was going to cost just for the everyday expenses at the center, it was kind of a collaborative effort with the three of us that he mentioned and our early childhood advisory committee that consisted of the previous elementary principals and teaching staff, and kind of came up with where we felt comfortable being able to offer services to the community at an expense that we felt was comparable, but also to kind of show the fact that we also have certified teachers. We're following licensing and accreditation. So our program is something that the community is highly seeking. It's a great program, and we didn't want to discredit any of that either.
Not to mention, it's a new facility with certified teachers.
So what will be the price per day then?
It's a variety because it depends on if you come all 5 days or if you come part-time, Tuesday, Thursday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. It also depends on if you qualify for your reduced. So I really can't give you one price, but you can see in your packet, it kind of explains if they qualify for free and reduced lunch, there's free and reduced tuition rates, as well as lunch prices. And
We-
breakfast prices.
We don't all have that, so.
Oh, you don't?
But I'll
No.
pass this.
Okay,
way.
yeah.
I might have
Yeah.
stuff. Is
And
it?
it's on the website, it's on the application, it's
Okay.
shared on social media. So, and you kind of have to tally it up because we also offer before and after care. You don't have to have breakfast and lunch. A lot of the kiddos are picky eaters and parents choose to feed them at home and then send to lunch with them. So it's kind of a range of price depending on if you're just doing like the tuition based, or if you also need food services, if you also need those extended care.
I think I got the right thing. Is it 30?
Right, if
Full-
you're
okay.
full-time.
16 reduced, okay.
Right.
I got the right thing here. Okay,
And that's if you're Monday through Friday.
gotcha. Okay. How many do we have enrolled for the?
Currently, as of today, we have 85 students that have filled out all of their enrollment stuff. We have some pending. We've had some that have moved out of the area, decided that they maybe don't want to come when they're 3, they're going to wait till they're 4, or they were happy where they were at, they're not making the transition. So several of them have contacted us to let us know they won't be enrolling. We do have some still pending out there. We are getting applications still, not like we were in the winter where it was several a day. Now it might be one a week, but we are still getting applications, and I would expect that to happen even throughout the summer.
How many?
I'm
How
sorry.
many will we have?
Well, it'll depend on, we have some wiggle room with ratio. We should have 1 teacher for every 10 kids. The 4-year-old rooms typically have 20 students with a teacher and a teacher assistant. The 3-year-old rooms, we try not to do 20. It's their first experience at school, some of them are still working on toileting. So we're wanting to stay around 16 to 18 in those rooms. But we also don't really want to maintain a waiting list anymore, but then that gets tricky. You can't go over ratio, but you don't hire another teacher because you have 4 kids that need a spot. So we can get creative with our ratios and kind of using those special education classrooms as well to do some services through there. So I really can't tell you exactly a number. I can tell you what the building's built to hold, but then it depends on if they're 3s and if they're 4s and things like that. So right now, we have the 3 special education classrooms, 2 3-year-old rooms, 2 4-year-old rooms at the center, and then 1 location out at Bloomsdale as well.
Just 7 here and 1 out in Bloomsdale.
Dr. Ketting, what all services are we going to offer at the preschool?
So parents as teachers will be moving over there as well. Home visiting is still in the home, but we can do our developmental screenings and our group connections over there. And then early childhood special education will move over there. So those are those 3s and 4s and 5s that aren't yet kindergarten eligible that are getting special education services. And then that tuition-based program for the 3s and 4-year-olds as well. And then based on those developmental screenings, we can provide speech therapy, occupational therapy, physical therapy if they qualify.
Some of the questions I get, and I know I've talked to you about this already, I apologize, are about the aftercare and the meals. Are those also comparative with other preschools?
So most of the places in town just have a 1 lump sum that figures in food services. Jordan and I kind of went back and forth on this because you can qualify for free and reduced, you could be full pay, you don't have to eat at the center, you could choose breakfast or lunch. And really, it was kind of hard to just include that in the funding because she also has to keep track of who eats. So if we didn't in some way keep track of who's eating breakfast and who's eating lunch and turning that in for data purposes, if it was just included in that 1 lump sum, it would have to be tracked somehow, and then somebody would have to pay for that. And on her end, we chatted about just including it in services, and the center keeps track of what kids are eating, and then the center reimburses the food program. But just for different logistics, that kind of became, we weren't sure that was the best practice. And that's how we've been doing it. They write a check for tuition, and they write a check for food services, and we've never had any problems with parents doing that. They actually like that if their kiddos are picky eaters, because then they don't feel like they have to eat the meal at school. They have options, and really all that matters is that they're eating and they're not hungry.
You know, what- go ahead, Jerry. Are you-
Is it a daily thing or a weekly thing? Like, do you have to commit to the meals? Like, okay, I'm gonna do meals in February.
So that is where it will kind of get tricky because we only have the kitchen there that's servicing
Right.
kiddos on there. We're here, like if they overcook, they kind of have the whole population to work with. So Patty and I will have to get creative about that to make sure we have enough, but not too much.
Right.
Right now, the students order the day before, so we tell them what's for breakfast and lunch tomorrow, and they tell us what they're gonna have. But do you even remember
Right.
when you said you wanted to eat? So then you get into the 4-year-old that says, I just
said
said
I
I
wanted
said
that.
breakfast. So we just.
Right,
we
so
just
you're
make
gonna
sure they
send the
always have what they
menu
need.
home, so they kind
Right,
of do send the
yes,
menu home the month
yeah, the
before,
menus can go
whatever.
home and
And then
parents
they can
communicate
decide.
what they're gonna eat.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
Do you know what percent of the enrolled population is free versus full pay?
So of the 85 that we have enrolled, 18 of them are either free or reduced. 4 free and 14 reduced.
And the center's open to anyone within the St. Genevieve R2 school district.
Right. You prove residency just like you would for kindergarten.
And how are you determining if some children are going to Bloomsdale versus here?
So the Bloomsdale classroom is specifically just for children who reside in that school.
Boundaries?
Yes, boundaries is the word, thank you. But then we also kind of went by first applied, but some of them apply the day they have the baby, so they've been on the application for a long time. We also took into consideration the needs of the family. So working collaboratively with Head Start, we've kind of been told in the past that unfortunately the families that qualify for free or reduced and reside in Bloomsdale, attendance can sometimes become an issue, or they eventually have to drop from the program because it's not, they can't afford to drive to town every single day to and from. So we've also kind of protected slots out there to help that population of families, so that if they live in Bloomsdale and say the family only has one car, or they work in the Bloomsdale area and they don't drive to town, then we want to make sure that they can have that location. Whereas we communicate with other families that say, well, I live in Bloomsdale, but I work in town, I really don't mind bringing my kiddo to town. And then we try to kind of navigate it that way to make sure that we can really meet the needs of the population out there.
And you worked collaboratively with Head Start to ensure that they're not going to just have any enrollment, correct?
So I talked with Head Start a lot, and their numbers are down, and they are concerned about that. But they have the opportunity to switch to an early Head Start program where they would be able to provide services for infants all the way to 2-year-olds. So that is something that they're looking into, possibly switching one of their classrooms to that younger population, so that families had childcare at a free cost from infant until 2 or 3, when they could then come to us.
And just as kind of how it is now, preschool doesn't have any kind of, or the 3s and 4s don't have any transportation, but early childhood special ed still does.
Correct.
Same
Early
as
childhood
it's always
special
been.
education, transportation is funded through their service
Right.
plan.
It's all
But
the
preschool
same.
Transportation is not.
So like full-time, like the times during the day, it's still 8 to 3, and then you would pay for aftercare?
Right, so we did
all day?
7:45 to 3:15. That's when our teachers are contracted, and that's typically what we do right now with the kiddos that are coming in with siblings are on that same schedule then too. So the before cares, if they need to come in before that 7:45, and if they need to stay until 5:15.
Okay, so then.
So it's kind of like the Dragon's Den program that the families pay a little bit
Okay.
extra for.
Talking about logistics, so 315, understand that, the idea behind it, is that going to cause even more ruckus with the bridge pickup?
We're hopeful.
Because I mean, you can only shove so many cars into a parking lot.
Sure,
Right.
yeah, and I was.
Do you think 3:30, so it like gives time to clear out and then get a second rush?
It's going to be a work in progress. My hope is that we're going to, the first 2 weeks, yes, it's going to be tough. It's just like the start of school. But I think as we get our eyes on it and we see what it looks like logistically, we may have to shift gears and make an adjustment at some point, and all that's on the table. You know, we don't want to make things worse for community members, for bridge pickup people, or making traffic a nightmare over there. Our streets are narrow. And there's going to be some issues, but, you know, we want to be good community partners and work through those issues. And if adjustments need to be made, Dr. Keddy's going to look at that and do what needs to be done.
And we do have a lot of families that are interested in that extended care, so knowing that the majority of our students wouldn't be getting picked up from that 3 to 3:15 time, it will be closer to 4:30 and 5 for those families that are working and can't pick up until later, so that should help with traffic too.
So, quick question. If we were to somehow resolve our situation with Holston, could we provide free lunch to all our kids?
I definitely think that would be something that I would love to do.
I know there's a lot of things we'd like to do.
There are,
Teacher
but,
raises,
Reducing tax burden.
reducing.
you know,
tax
if we could take that burden off of families, I think that would be a great achievement for our district.
Amen. Thank you, ma'am.
I would also just like to add that this year is the first year that there haven't really been grant opportunities out there for us, so we took that into consideration too. In the past, we've received a $30,000 grant for 3 years in a row, that Foundation for School Success. There were other startup grants that were out there for $50,000 if you started up a new classroom. None of that is on the table this year. So we really had to consider the fact that we're not getting grants and support from state and federal funding like we have in the past for, like when we had the MPP program to start both of those preschool classrooms that paid for all the furniture and the teacher and all of those things. That's not there anymore. So now as a district, we have to sustain it.
Were those all state or federal grants?
State,
State. So the Missouri preschool program,
that was state.
3 years in a row, and now this year it's not
Well,
available.
Missouri preschool program is what started the Winsdale and St. John locations 10 plus years ago. And that was good for, I think, 5 years. And then the Foundation for School Success is what we got 3 years ago. And we just missed that $50,000 startup grant. We would have had to have a classroom open in September of 2024 to get that. But now nothing's out there right now.
Is there speculation that,
The only one I have seen is a little bit of help with curriculum and
yeah,
it's a drop in the bucket.
It's amazing because the state has a $1.5 billion surplus. Kind of
1.5, like 4.
1.4?
More than 4 billion, isn't it?
Oh, I don't know.
Dr. Kevin, could those grants be, could you get those next year?
Well, they're not out there right now.
So
There's
they're
nothing
not-
to even apply
Okay,
for.
okay.
Yeah. But if they become available, we will certainly be applying.
Like if our portfolio and we've got, you know, with these numbers, I guess are we self-sustainable? Is that kind of how you came to these numbers or?
Absolutely not. We anticipate everybody that we talk to, all the places that we visit, operate in the red. So this isn't a money-making venture. Wouldn't be fair to charge what we needed to be fair to break even on it. So the goal is not to make money. The goal is just to be competitive. It's a new facility. We've got certified teachers. We're providing a quality service. So we wanted to land somewhere that was reasonable, considering we haven't raised rates. I think where we landed is reasonable, given all the factors. And I can remember 3 different times we sat down in the office and talked about it and what would be best. And is that too much? And well, should we land here? And all the variables, and we ended up agreeing.
how big of an increase, I'm sorry, Eric.
What if we get late into the summer, it's like, boy, we need enrollment. You gotta adjust prices to maybe, or is it gonna be too late by then?
I think it's going to be too late. I don't think you could adjust prices until the next year. One facility we talked to ends up being about $500,000 in the red every year. And that's what we're anticipating. When I'm looking at budget and doing some planning, I'm counting on about a $500,000 deficit there. What that looks like when the real numbers come in and we start paying electric and water, you don't know until those bills come due. Orchard Farm, initially, when they started their preschool, they had a flat rate. They did not pay their teachers on a teacher salary schedule. I think they're transitioning to, they either transitioned this year, they transitioned to putting them on the teacher salary schedule this year because it was a revolving door. They wanted to come in the district, get their foot in the door, so they did this job, and then they got hired for other positions in the district. And so they transitioned away from it. We looked at that too, but our teachers are on the teacher salary schedule, so.
I mean, does every early childhood around the state pretty much only employ certified teachers for those positions, or you get a little bit of both, or?
I'm not sure.
Well, in a school district, that's where it kind of trended towards the certified teacher, because if not, you would hire like a bachelor's in child development, but not teacher certified. And then they would get a certification and switch to like kindergarten or first grade to increase their pay. And so that's when they were saying they were having teacher turnover a lot because it just wasn't sustainable.
Because we touched on a few topics, I just want to share, I'm not here to dog Wholesome. Good company, I just want them to pay their taxes. We are currently, I think, operating and our operating fund tax rate at 3.4055. I don't know that that could get down to 275 because that's the bare minimum, but it could certainly go well below that if we got our full payment. So you'd have a reduced tax rate
on every individual.
On every individual, and still be able to offer all the services that we are adding. And that leads me to my last point, unless somebody else wants to add on, and that is I want to thank administration because, you know, the past year, not only we're a school district, we've taken on 2 small businesses, right? We've taken on a bus company, and now we're taking on a preschool. It's a lot of work, so appreciate it. Thank you.
Good team. Good team.
Teamwork? All right. Any other questions?
I want to point out one thing to extend on what Dr. Taylor said about operating in a loss. And you said, you know, the main priority is to get those kids in early for early intervention and getting them academically successful from age 5 through 18. So
I was told by superintendents who have gone through this process that you hire the best people you can for those early years because they are going to impact them in kindergarten and throughout their career. The earlier you can get them in to learn what they need to learn and to get them up to speed for the deficiencies they might have, the better off they're going to be and the more successful they're going to be in the following grades. It just makes sense.
And I'll say my wife, kindergarten teacher, will tell you, you can tell the students who walk in the door who have been in a pre-K building versus those who have never seen the inside of a school, and it's night and day difference.
Yep.
For better or for worse, it's just how it is at 5 years old, so.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, new business, almost at the end, folks.
Did we have one more in a?
Oh, we did. One more item of unfinished business.
That's one way to cut my time short.
CSIP. Sorry.
We just wanted to go over our annual review of CSIP. I will keep it short. You've seen the CSIP, and there weren't major changes, but we had our annual review on March 6th. We had 27 participants participate. So those were great numbers for people to come in after school in the evening without being paid and just ask to help out. They did review some of the action steps and determined that we should put them in time order and then go ahead and add the dates to the side. So you will see that in the new version of the CSIP. And then there's also some clarification in language. An example would be there's 2 goals that look almost identical, but that's because we needed a math goal and a reading goal. The action steps are pretty much the same. And so we used italics to delineate, well, this is reading, this is math. It was the same for like when we were talking about students, families, and community. We would kind of emphasize those key words. We did combine, we wanted to take an attempt to make it smaller. There was one area where we were able to do that, and that's when we combined 3.B and 3.C. 3.B was behavioral focused, and 3.C was pro-social skills. And the more we looked at it, the more we thought those 2 could be combined and put together. It did lengthen the amount of action steps, but the total number of action steps was actually smaller when you consider both of them there. But we're still addressing both. It's not like we threw one out. The other piece was input on potential evidence. I asked them if there was a way that they could identify certain areas that would help us focus on the work versus gathering evidence or even creating evidence for the sake of creating evidence. And so they identified certain areas where we might be able to do that, whether that's curriculum work, principal reports, some of the day-to-day things that if we were moving forward in some of these goals, we would produce these evidence pieces, and then I'd be able to link them and be able to turn them into DESE as proof that we are moving forward with our action steps. And I did want to touch on, since I was asked, didn't really see competency-based specifically listed there, but if you go through the steps in there, there are strategies that address competency-based education. For instance, I believe there's a create progressions, there's making authentic assessments, there's student ownership in their learning and voice and choice and setting goals. All those are components of competency-based education, so it's not specifically stated, but some of the action steps are there to move us forward in that certain area. And so those are the big updates. Do you have any questions?
You answered mine earlier.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Motion to approve the revisions to the comprehensive school improvement plan for the St. Jim County R2 school districts as presented.
A motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Now we go on to MSBA Board of Directors. I think we have Ms. Martha Riesinger, who has been on the MSBA Board of Directors for 18 years. Thank you. Let's make it 20. And she would like to stay on there, and there's a nomination in our packet.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve the nomination of Ms. Martha Riesinger for the position of MSBA Board of Directors Representative.
Second. I'll go Jim.
Choices. All right, I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Any personnel changes approved during closed session this evening will be provided in the draft meeting minutes within 72 hours of adjournment. I'll have a motion to adjourn.
Okay, I'll make a motion to adjourn the open session of the regular meeting of the Board of Education of the St. Genevieve County R2 School District. And we don't have to, do I have to mention we adjourned earlier for closed session? Okay.
Second. I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you all. Have a good night.
Thank you.